Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Freya and Nikki's Carcast.
So today it's kind of a special, isn't it? Because there was a really big event on Thursday, which was the Makerfield election. Do you know why it was important? Or do you want to explain why it was important?
Put me on the spot, thank you. So it was important for one main reason, and that was to get Andy Burnham to be an MP. And then once he got his role as MP...
if he got his role as MP from Makerfield.
Yeah, but we know he got it.
No spoilers!
Oh, no spoilers, sorry. If he wins the election on Thursday, he can then challenge Starmer for the leadership.
Yep.
But it also does throw a big question out there, doesn't it? As to if, no spoilers, if he does win.
If he won.
If he does win.
Past tense.
If he won. This is too difficult. If he did win,
yeah.
then that leaves the Mayor of Manchester up for grabs, which is another big thing that nobody really seems to be talking about.
No. Which is quite scary.
It is. So did I get it right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, pay attention.
So they went to the polls on Thursday, and the main two that it was between was Reform and Labour with Andy Burnham. And everybody was kind of rooting for Andy because, you know, they wanted him to trigger a leadership contest. What Andy Burnham said before the Makerfield election was that when he won, he would trigger a leadership contest. Now he has won. We will put that out there. He has won. He said he's not going to trigger a leadership election or a leadership contest for several weeks, which does pose the question, did he actually have the support to begin with?
But you see, I mean, there's two big things. We got it totally wrong. Yeah. We said that Reform were going to win, and we were wrong. We were proved wrong.
Yeah.
But, you see, I do wonder whether he was actually interested in taking the role of PM, because as we have discussed before, not on here, but as we've discussed before at home, is he wanted to be an MP before the disastrous election results.
Yeah.
So do we think that maybe people have hyped him up to be this god, this saviour of the Labour Party, and he really doesn't want it in his heart of hearts? Or what do you think?
I think he wants it. You know, I feel like most people go into being a Prime Minister or go into Parliament, you know, be an MP to eventually one day be Prime Minister. I feel like that's a lot of people's ambitions. You know, he was Mayor of Manchester. Was he maybe thinking that was going to be great and it turned out to not be what he wanted? And now he's wanting to go back and hoping that people forget about his, you know, wanting to be Prime Minister.
Do we... Because he was an MP, wasn't he, before he became Mayor? Do we know why he stood down? No.
No.
Do you think he thought that the mayoral role would give him something better than just being the MP? And where was he MP for?
Not a clue.
Okay.
You're asking me all these questions that I don't know.
I know.
So, Andy won with 55%, I think it was 54.8% of the vote. Then it was Reform at 30-something. But what's also been interesting post-Makerfield election is there has been a Conservative member saying that after the loss at Makerfield, Nigel Farage is thinking of resigning from his position as leader of Reform. So that's quite interesting and something to perhaps watch out for.
Yeah, watch this space on.
Nigel, as we know, is really big on social media, and he went on social media, and I saw this yesterday after the Makerfield election results came out. He said that he was quite disappointed because they were aiming for 15,000 results or like votes, but they ended up with only 12,000, nearly 13,000 I think it was. So that's quite interesting. I mean, they weren't far off, so I think they were maybe expecting to lose. I don't know. Something quite interesting. Also quite interesting to see how bad the Conservatives did in the election.
Indeed, I mean, nobody's calling for Kemi's head because, I mean, she did badly in the local elections that were held. We've just had this one, and she's done badly in that as well, but yet nobody's calling for her head.
Why do you think that is?
I do have to agree with the conversation we had last night, where the Conservatives have been through so many leaders, and because they don't have enough good quality, maybe good quality is the wrong word, but good quality MPs actually sitting in the House, the next person would be another Kemi, and that's what they don't want. But I don't know who I would, if I could pick anybody in the Conservatives that aren't in the House, I don't know who I would pick to run the party. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be anybody big. Anyway, Andy Burnham, before he became mayor, was a MP for Lee from 2001 until 2017, and he was Secretary of State for Health under Gordon Brown. But what's a Labour co-op?
What are you reading?
The top line there. A member of Labour co-op. Don't know. Okay.
So what's quite interesting, if we go back to Kemi, what's quite interesting with the Conservatives currently is, and I think Kemi's even said, has Kemi said this? I was maybe in a politics lesson actually. Lots of the Conservatives, because they had such a big defeat at the 2024 election, loads of like the big dogs, like the really good, the really experienced MPs that Kemi would have picked to be in her cabinet, are not in her cabinet because they just didn't win their seat. It was given to Labour. So if you look at, if you look at the map of like how many seats the Labour Party actually won, there's not many Conservatives. And so it's quite interesting to think whether that was, or that is maybe her saving grace for not being ousted, basically. Trying to find the map. Why can I not?
So yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting few days, but I did like that dustbin that Andy Burnham shook the hand of.
Oh yeah.
And there was...
That's the map. That's what it looked like.
In 2024.
In 2024. So there's a lot of blue, but there's also evidently a lot more red. And Lib Dems also made a massive gain as well. So it's quite interesting. But I don't even know where Manchester is on the map. Is it there?
Somewhere up here. So,
but
yeah.
That's quite interesting to see the Manchester area. So maybe explains why Andy won. Maybe doesn't.
I know, but I mean that dustbin that got 95 votes. I did see the wolf as well. It
Mm.
held a sign up that said save the wildlife or something.
Yeah. Was it foxes? Something. But
Can't
what's
remember.
also been quite interesting about the Makerfield election is Andy Burnham has actually U-turned, in effect, on what he did in 2019. So, everybody, I'd hope, that's watching this, listening to this, will remember Brexit. And you're like, okay, well, that was like 7 years ago, because it was, what, 2019? That was 7 years ago. It was such a long time ago, it doesn't affect anything now. It still does, because a really big part of Andy Burnham's campaign in Makerfield was saying, like, Brexit was a really good thing, like, it's doing great, because there was lots of Reform people in Makerfield, and obviously Reform was UKIP, which was, like, really championing let's leave the EU, and still really does and really wants to leave. And so that's quite interesting to see how Andy Burnham has changed, because in 2019 Andy Burnham was very much Remain, that was his whole thing, and yeah, he was Mayor of Manchester, so I guess he can't really pick a side, but he was really Remain, he was really campaigning it, and now all of a sudden he's changed his opinion. So is he actually better than Starmer? Because he's doing exactly what Starmer's done. Starmer U-turned because it wasn't popular. Andy Burnham's U-turned because it's not popular, because it got him the vote. It got him to win.
But I can't believe sort of Nigel Farage, just because he's lost one election, is thinking of throwing his toys out the pram. And
I don't think it's because he's lost one election. I think it's because it proves his popularity is going down.
Okay, so here's a question then, because the Makerfield by-election, there was more riding on that than just a by-election.
Yes.
There was the by-election, first and foremost, and the second thing was the leadership. So do we think if it was just a normal by-election, take out him running for PM, do you think the outcome would have been the same? Or do you think they voted more for Andy Burnham to get in because they are fed up of the Starmer leadership and want him to pursue that role?
I think probably. I think Andy may have still won.
Do you think the margins would have been narrower?
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't think he'd have won. I honestly don't. I still stick by what we said the other week, excuse me, that Reform will win. And I stick by that. I think if it wasn't so much of a let's challenge the PM and get him out, I honestly do think Reform would have won.
I think what will help us to see whether Andy would have actually won without him challenging the leadership will be when they have the election for mayor.
Okay.
Because if Reform win that, I think that will prove that it was only because Andy was running for Prime Minister once he'd got the seat.
How long till they do the mayor?
Actually,
Don't know.
I would say it's not going to be long. But then what's also quite interesting is because Andy was like, okay, I'm going to get the seat. He was really divisive on what he was going to do. He's like, I'm going to get the seat. I'm going to go for Prime Minister. I'm going to trigger the leadership contest. And now he's all of a sudden gone, oh, well, not straight away. I'm going to leave it a couple of weeks. I think that's going to lose the faith of the country, or the faith of the people who are like, let's go Andy, let's get Andy in, let's, do all of this. And I think that's really going to make people angry, because they're like, well, we voted you in so you could get Prime Minister, so you can sort the country out. But I don't think he's any better. If anything, I think he's going to be worse.
Because?
He's not had the experience. He's not been a member of cabinet for a long time. He was under with Gordon Brown. Politics has changed since then. And I also feel like, okay, yes, PMQs aren't what PMQs are meant to be, and they're not as fun, and that, they're not the traditional PMQs. I feel like Andy's just going to bring back the fun side of it, but he's going to do kind of what Boris did. And somebody, I can't remember who, actually drew parallels between the two of them. I think it was actually maybe Nigel Farage, but I think that was and is a very valid point, that Andy Burnham and Boris were both two very popular mayors. They're two very popular, very charismatic, all of this, and they're actually very similar characters. And that, for me, just doesn't give me confidence that he's going to take it seriously. We're in a country of really big decisions that need to be made. We've got defence that isn't being funded very well. We've got, the problem of Russia, Ukraine. We've got Israel and America and Palestine and all of that we really need to be thinking, okay, what are we actually doing? But then Starmer's had some really big successes. He's, inflation's gone down, cost of living's gone down, NHS waiting lists have gone down. All of these things have happened that are really, really good. If Andy gets in, are they going to continue to be really, really good? Because he could do a whole cabinet reshuffle. He said that he's going to keep Rachel Reeves as Chancellor of the Exchequer, but is that actually going to happen? I don't think so. And so it is very much a worrying time, and a worrying time for politics.
But I mean, what surprised me the most when we look at the election results from Makerfield, the top three were Labour and Andy, followed by Reform, followed by Restore Britain. Now, that for me should set alarm bells ringing, that Reform and Restore Britain are up there.
That is worrying. I think we figured it out yesterday. Well, voter turnout was only 52%. Usually, you normally see for like referendums that, I know it's not really a referendum, but I feel like it kind of was a referendum as such, that voter turnout goes a lot higher than when it's just like a normal general election. And so I was expecting voter turnout to be really, really high. Look at the 2024 election, it was only 64%. This is lower than that, and Starmer's got, a 33% approval rating. That's not great. He got 33% of the votes, yet he's got a massive majority. His actual, approval rating, people who actually wanted him, I would say, is a lot lower. A lot lower. And so Andy Burnham is probably going to be even lower than that. People are saying, oh yeah, we want Andy, but do you only want Andy because you don't want Starmer? It's that kind of thing.
So let's say Andy Burnham does trigger it in the next week or two, while he rallies his troops, because he needs 81 people behind him, doesn't he, to challenge?
I thought it was 80.
Well, he's the 81st.
Okay.
80 or 81 Labour MPs to back him to challenge. So let's say he rallies the party and he gets that and he challenges, and Starmer has categorically said he's going to put his name in the hat, and he doesn't need 80, does he, because he's a sitting PM? He's
no, I
automatically,
think he still needs...
I thought he was automatically on the paper because he is... Anyway, regardless. Let's say Andy gets in. Should a general election be called?
Genuinely think, yeah. Because what's happened is Andy's changed his stance. So the manifesto will change. So Starmer had a manifesto, but Andy Burnham's manifesto isn't going to be the same as Starmer's. And so technically the aim of the Labour Party is going to change. And with that comes it coming to people.
Okay, so question.
Mm.
You've said that Andy Burnham will have a manifesto.
Well, he'll have his own ideals, yeah. He's not going to follow Starmer's manifesto, is he?
No, but at what point does he draw a manifesto up? Because let's say you were Andy Burnham. You are Mayor of Manchester, so you have your full-time job. All of a sudden, you've been voted in for a MP. You've got to get a manifesto drawn up, surely, to spout to others about what you're going to do. And that doesn't come in a day. You can't sit here in a car like we are doing this and go, right, NHS, I'm going to spend an extra 2 billion. I'm just plucking figures out of the air. I'm going to defence spending. I'm going to increase that by 10 million.
No, but he's got to have had a manifesto that he stood on for Makerfield.
Do you really?
Yes.
No, you see, that's my naivety.
You're not voting just for a person.
Oh, I am. Vote me!
And that's the problem that we spoke about in First Past the Post, and that's a different episode that we did earlier.
Indeed,
I
but
think it's like episode 3.
But what we did find out was when it does come to a leadership challenge,
which it might not do,
but when that does happen, you have a piece of paper.
Ballot paper.
A piece of paper.
Yeah, just an A3 piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has all of the candidates, and then you rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, which is what we'd discussed and what we think would be a better way of voting. So it seems strange that they do it one way, yet everybody else does it another way. I find that.
But the Mayor of Manchester, when they're being selected, they do it differently.
Do they? How do they do it?
They do it 1, 2, 3. They list it. So then whoever gets in will be either the first or second choice. It's quite interesting.
It is very interesting.
So that's pretty much the situation in Makerfield. Got to watch the space for the Mayor of Manchester, which Andy Burnham has done a really good job in Manchester. I will give him that 100%. I know I've been slating him, but I will 100% give him everything that he's done in Manchester.
Because he did those bee buses, didn't he?
Yeah, and for those who don't know, the bee is like the thing in Manchester. You know, it's like their mascot almost. So the bee buses.
I was thinking it was B for Burnham. Not funny. Fine. Bee bus. Burnham. Bee.
Ow!
You mean like a busy bee?
Yeah, like a busy bee.
Not the B for Burnham.
No, so...
But that was quite
that
quick for me. It's the Burnham bee.
The Burnham bee. So he did the bee buses, he did those trams, didn't he? He got the trams in Manchester. Anyway, he's just done some really good things for Manchester. He's really...
invigorated the city, hasn't he?
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. But he's really modernised it, he's made it so it's like enjoyable for everybody, it's an attraction, it's like all of this, and it's been really, really good.
A go-to destination other than London.
You know. No, okay.
like my Burnham buses. It fell a bit flat, didn't it? Mm.
Well, other people might have found that interesting.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and you dancing.
I
Mm.
enjoy dancing. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
It's watch this space, and we will do some more podcasts when we learn some more about what is or is not happening. I think next week what we ought to do is go, what's Burnham done this week?
I don't think he will have done anything. We're really bright. Oh, there we go. It's gone now.
We are really bright. We're like the sun.
That also fell a bit flat.
It did.
I don't think he will do anything. Not anything significant. I think he might go on social media and like say some waffle. But I don't think he'll actually waffle. I don't think he'll actually be anything of significance. I think it'll just be, oh, like, I'm ready to challenge Starmer. Like, no, you're not. Get a grip.
Go Starmer!
I'm not even a Labour voter.
No, I know.
Don't actually know how many MPs. Hang on. Why is your phone not working? It is working now.
It's a bit like me. What are you looking at?
How many seats? Sorry everyone, that was my belly.
It's 300 and something, isn't it?
326 by the looks of this.
Thought it was 300 and something.
Oh, they won 411.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, Burnham doesn't actually have to get that many. In reality. He has to get... Oh, got your phone turned off. Calculator. No, I don't want to do that. How many? 80. He needs 19%. That's actually not that much.
It isn't that much, is it?
So, it's quite interesting.
Mm.
So we'll see what happens. If anything breaking happens, we might have to quickly do an episode and be like, breaking news!
Dung, dung, dung!
Yeah.
Indeed.
It's been quite short. Short and sweet.
Indeed, but we can't waffle on forever and ever to everybody.
We'll get bored of us.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Like. Let us know if you like the video.
Yeah, comment.
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 Looking at you. Yeah. We see you. Yeah. Thank you for watching and listening.
See you soon!
See you soon!